Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Achieving Alpha. And apologies for no videos for quite some time because I have been really busy with some of the other things for a while now. And we see that the COVID cases are touching an all-time high every single day. And yeah, I request you all to stay at home and stay safe because the market is not running anywhere. But it's important that you take care of yourselves and your family members. So with that being said, let's begin. So, as mentioned, that the COVID cases are surging every single day, but yet the markets are shooting up. Whereas most of us expect that the market should crash or at least give some significant correction given the situation on ground. But that is not really the case, right? So daily we are seeing that Nifty is creating a high greater than the previous day. That is, Nifty is forming a higher high and a higher low every single day, which does signal that maybe Nifty has started a new uptrend, but it's not very good to jump to conclusions soon. And we'll analyze that why that is happening. So first of all, we need to understand that there are basically three or four types of players in the markets, which we'll talk about soon. There are retailers like us. There are FIIs, which are foreign institutional investors. There are DIIs, which are domestic institutional investors, which are basically your mutual fund or maybe some sort of other fund house or LIC or something like that. And then there are proprietary traders. So most of the action in the market is done by these big players, which are primarily FII and DII. And if I talk about the cash market, so in cash market, both FII and DII are actively involved. But in the derivatives market, it is only the FIIs and the proprietary traders which are involved to some degree, to some significant degree, I must say. So let's try to analyze that. Why is the market shooting up? So first of all, let's try to have a look at the FII data. So first of all, let's try to have a look in the cash market. So money control is a good source where you can find this. So let me open that and then we can see what's happening. So we'll see that in the last or basically in this particular month, the FIIs since the last week or more than last week have been selling continuously in the cash market, and they have been selling in a significant amount. So you will see that this 1400 crores, this 1100 crores selling is significant for a day. And what's happening is that some of you might say that in spite of this big selling, the markets are not crashing. So there are mainly two reasons. Now, there are two things which we can look in the FII's data. One is the cash market, and another one is the derivatives market, which we'll have a look at soon. But one of the other things is that the DIIs are also supporting the market. So when the FIIs are selling, the DIIs are compensating and buying rather equivalent to the amount which FII is selling, or maybe sometimes even more, as you can see on 23rd of April. So that's one of the reasons that the market is not showing a correction in spite of FIIs going into the selling mode. Another very important thing to look at is the derivative data. Before that, I want to mention another thing that for the last 4 months, the FIIs have purchased a net quantity of more than rupees 1.5 lakh crore in the cash market. So one of the things which you need to understand is that the FIIs cannot dump it all at once. Why? Because if they do so, they will have a supply problem. They also need buyers, right? And the free float in our Indian market is not that much that the FIIs can sell all of the equities which they have bought in the last 4 months in maybe a month or so. They need to do it slowly, and that's what they have started. So that is a concern for me. And another thing is that if at all they were dumping this huge quantity, which is rupees 1.5 lakh crores, so suddenly, then the markets would crash in one single day. So it doesn't work like that. They are going to do this slowly and they need to do it gradually rather than crashing it all together. So that's one thing. And now let's go to the derivative data and try to understand how to interpret that. And then as a bonus, I'm going to tell you how you can automate this process and get the derivative data for the entire month using Python. So with that being said, let's begin. So where do you get this derivative data? So first of all, you go to the NSE website, which is this particular website right here. Now here you go to market data and here you go to daily market reports. Under here, you need to go to the derivative section. And now here you need to go to daily reports and basically download this particular file, which is FNO participant wise open interest. Now this is the file for the previous day because today it's about 5 p.m. as of now, and this data is usually updated after 7 p.m. on this particular website. So this is the data for yesterday. You can open it in Excel and you can see that there are a lot of things which you can see here. So we'll basically try to understand what's happening here and what do each column represent and how to basically interpret this particular data. So this could be a bit of a lengthy video because I also have to show you the Python automation part. So just stay tuned. I'm sure that you will learn a lot of new things and this will add a new dimension to your analysis. So basically this is what we are going to analyze. So basically you have the positions in the derivatives market for both futures as well as options, and you have these both for the index as well as the stocks. So if we want to understand at a broader level how the market will move, or in other words how the indexes will perform, you basically will look only at the index data and you can ignore the stock data for now. So basically what's happening here is that, as I mentioned, that there are four types of people in market. Pro is for proprietary traders, then you have FII, DII, and client is basically the retail participants like us. Now basically what happens is that out of all of these, I can say that the one who has the highest probability of success, or the one who is most successful, or who is successful at least 60 to 80% of times, is the FII, and they have a significant volume in the derivatives market. So we will only be analyzing the data for FIIs and we can ignore this proprietary DII and client. So basically we'll do the analysis for the FII and let's try to understand what does this data say. So first of all, we'll try to understand what is this future index long and this future index short. So as the name suggests, future index long is the number of long contracts in the index futures created by the FIIs. So the more this number is, this means that the FIIs are more bullish. The less this number is, that the FIIs are less bullish. That's quite obvious. And for short, again, you can understand the more number implies that the FIIs are bearish, and a lesser number implies that the FIIs are less bearish. So let us try to understand the net long position of FII in index futures. So for that, basically you will take this particular long positions and you will basically divide it by the total number of positions in the futures. So this is this plus the short positions. So it's this. So you will see that the FIIs are currently 67% long in the index futures. Now this has been my personal observation over the years, that whenever this particular percentage touches 75, there is a profit booking in the market, and whenever this particular number touches 40, there is a long, or basically there is a bullish reversal in the market. So what does this particular number say? That this is basically the number of long, or the percentage of long positions in the index futures. And this 75 and 40% are not rules. These are just based on my personal observations. And you will find that 8 out of 10 times, whenever this number reaches 75%, you will observe a profit booking in the market. So as of now, this number is at 67%. 75, 8 out of 10 times, again I'm mentioning that this is not a rule, this is just a thumb rule, and it is based on my personal observation for the past years. So this is one thing. And then you have other things, so we can analyze the data for the options. So in options you have option index call long, which is basically the number of call options which the FII are having the long positions in. Then you have the number of put options in which the FIIs are having the long positions. So this is again bullish, this is bearish, as you might know. And then the number of call options shorted by the FIIs. So again, this is bearish, and the number of put options shorted by the FII. So this is again bullish. So all of this gives you a clear picture. And again, you need not be bothered by the stock options or stock futures until and unless you are not doing this for some particular sector or something. But all in all, if you want to do this for an index, this is how you can interpret the data. And again, if you can have a good comparison between the options as well, so you can have a good idea of where the way is more. So basically, if the weight is more towards the bearish side or towards the bullish side. So this is something which you can do on a daily basis, but it's a tedious task, right? You download the Excel and then you open it, you calculate these things, and this can be a painful task to do it on a daily basis. So what I did is I basically tried to automate this particular thing using Python. So let me show you that. And yeah, this is the particular notebook. And if at all this basically if this video gets more than 200 likes, so I will share the code and the notebook as well. So all I request is that if you're enjoying the content, please consider liking this particular videos, because it really motivates me. So yeah, let's get started. As usual, I will make some imports at the top. Okay, just wait for the kernel to get started. It is initializing. And meanwhile, let me explain the code. So as usual, we are making certain imports, and here basically this current day, so I would advise you to run this particular notebook after, let's say, 9 p.m. Because till then most probably there is a very high chance that the data on the NSE sites has been uploaded. So that's one thing. Okay, this is stuck for some reason. Give me a second. Let me try to open this in a new tab and let's see if this works. Yeah, sorry for the delay, but let's see. Okay, it's allocating, it's connecting, and it should be connected soon. Let's see. Okay, it's connected. Yeah, sorry for the delay. So basically, this current day will fetch the current date, which is there, and you will have to input the month. Weekends automatically will be calculated because there is no data for weekends. One of the things which you need to input is the holidays, basically the trading holidays apart from the weekends in that particular month. How do you get that? It's pretty simple. Just type in NSE holiday calendar and it should give you that. So you will see that in April we had three holidays, which is 2nd of April, 14th and 21st. So this is what I must input here and that's what I have done. You run this particular cell and then basically what it's doing is for each of these day it is fetching the CSV file from the NSE's website and it is trying to combine everything into one particular table. So that's what it will do and it has done that for all of the days in April because the month that we set is 04, which is April. So let it complete that and then we can see what happens next. Okay, this is stuck because I told you that basically this you must run after 9 p.m. The reason it is stuck here is because it is 5 p.m. today and the data for today hasn't been out. And if it cannot find the data, it will just get stuck here. So let me stop that and let me manually try to set this. So today it is 28, so yesterday it was 27. So let me set it to be 27. Again, you need not hard code this. If you run it after 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., it will automatically get the data for the latest day. So I have set that to 27. Okay, it says that, all right, this should be an integer. Yeah. So I have set the data and then I have run this particular cell and now it should be able to get that. So let me switch this back to this thing. And yeah, we have the data. Now let me show you how does the data look like. Yeah, so this is the table. As mentioned that we are only looking at FIIs and this is the date and now you have all of these information for the previous days as well. So I mentioned that in Excel you have to do that daily, but now you have an overall picture of the entire month. So again, there are a bunch of things which you can do programmatically, like you can get the net long in futures and then you can do a bunch of things. So basically to demonstrate the same, I basically gave this example and you can see that this is the net long that they have in futures. So you can mainly have a look at the futures, but if you want, you can also analyze options. But futures are important because they tend to move in direct correlation with the respective indices. So you can consider them to be the net long and you can see that we get some similar figures that we got in Excel. So this is what you can do. Again, there are other things which you can do. You can have a look at the ratio of the uh, future index long is to future index short. You can have a look at the differences and then you can have a look at a lot of things. So basically you can have a look at by how much percentage did the put short increase in the current day and by how much percentage did the call short increased in the current day and you will see that there are certain patterns in this particular data. So you will see that every fourth day the put short in index are basically reduced. So these kind of patterns can be identified by the naked eye as well. But one of the interesting things is that using this particular data to identify the patterns, we can also use statistical methods and machine learnings. And basically, machine learning algorithms can identify these patterns in a much more better way than a human can. So this is again something which is very advanced and out of the scope of this particular video, but it's definitely one of the best ways and it is an interesting ways because quantitative analysis is often underlooked and quantitative methods are what hedge funds use. So technical analysis is fine, it's okay. But if at all a trader can combine both technical as well as quantitative analysis, then the accuracy is supposed to be very high because both have a very strong correlation. And basically, if you use both, then you can become a really good trader. So I highly encourage you to learn about those things if you're interested. And yeah, this is basically the video. So you can combine this data with price action. So as I mentioned that whenever you see a long position going till 75% and you see that Nifty is close to a very, a resistance, basically a swing resistance. So at that time you can short aggressively and you can just manage your positions accordingly. So this data is really helpful. You can have a look at the index call long, you can have an index put long, and then you can have a look at call short, put short. and you can manage your view accordingly. So on a broader level, you can take the view from this futures position, but if at all you want to dig deep, so you can basically analyze it using these four columns as well. So call long is basically bullish, put long is bearish, call short is bearish, and put short is again bullish. So I hope you'll enjoy this particular video, and you should also have a look at the cash numbers daily, because cash numbers are also important. Now I was saying that this is a concern. Why? Because what FIIs are doing is that they are trying to create a illusion that everything is okay, but you know that the situation on the ground is not right. So whenever every retailer is thinking of shorting the market, every retailer thinks that the market is going to crash from here, that's when the FII will play contra to your thinking, and they will push the market up, and that's what they are doing. Now they have pushed the market almost till 14,900, and now most of the retailers think that okay, everything is good and Nifty is again going towards an all-time high. They might take it to all-time high as well, no doubt, but the truth is that the situation on ground is not good, and they are constantly selling in cash, right? So this derivative data is looking positive, but I think this is a temporary one, and the time when they book profits from both derivatives, they are already exiting from the cash market. And if they also start booking profits from the derivative market, which sooner or later they will, then you will see some good correction in the market. So don't go long like very aggressively. You can try to play long, but with strict stop loss. Or if you're doing it on a positional basis, try to hedge your trades, because that's the only way you can be safe. Because you never know that the market might open gap down on the next day, and then you can't do anything. So that is something which I want to tell you, and I hope you like this particular video and gain something new out of this. Again, this code I will share once we cross 200 likes on this particular video. I know you guys will do it soon. And if you enjoyed this particular video, please consider pressing the like button. And if you are new here and coming here for the first time, subscribe to this channel for more such content. Thank you so much for sticking around till the end. Have a good day. Take care and bye bye.